Alright, welcome back to Redline Parts Talk. This is Zach Stevens with Zach TV, and I told you guys a little bit last time on the oil filter video that we're going to kind of move into the lubricant side of things. So we'll go ahead and start off with the real fun one, which is hydraulic fluids. This is a very broad subject, kind of difficult to talk about. You know, if you guys look up online, there isn't a whole lot about hydraulic fluids or transmission fluids. So let's get started here, and I'll tell you a little bit about this before I start talking about the oil. So CNH kind of prides itself on the water absorption level that their hydraulic fluid can handle, and that is up to 1%. And the reason they have concern with this is because, you know, tractors sit in the winter in cold storage, or implements, you know, you get a lot of condensation in your machine. So what you see on the outside, sweating transmissions, also happens on the inside. So eventually you're going to get moisture inside the oil, and somehow or another your fluid has to handle that. So after we discuss the fluids themselves, we'll go back to this water tolerance test. So we'll go ahead and go back to the CNH versus the John Deere versus the Co-op and the Lube King. So the Hytran Plus has a 1% water tolerance. So it can handle up to 1% water of its own weight. And we'll get to that here in a minute. John Deere, in my research with them, I couldn't find it, but it is pretty decent. The Co-op, not so much, and the Lube King, not so much at all. However, that being said as well, these oils all have their place in the market. And I will be the first to admit, so if I had one of my old Case tractors that I collect, you know, back in 1950s or 40s, this Lube King stuff right here would be the bomb, right? I mean, there's nothing they made in 1943 that is good as Lube King right here. This would be really good stuff to put in that tractor. Same way at the Co-op. So as you get up here, you're kind of overkilling it in an old 1940s tractor. You can do it, obviously, hey, but if you're a consumer that's a little cost driven, you know, by all means, you're asking these questions, I'm trying to answer them for you. Use Lube King in your 1943 Case SC or whatever, you know. But you want to come in here and spend the $55 for a gallon of Hytran? Great, it's going to work awesome. But, you know, it's not necessarily a need for that. So we'll go ahead and talk about the water tolerance test now, and why I like the Hytran Premium versus the others. So here's the Hytran Premium. They've changed the formulation just a little bit this last year. So as you can see, as the oil starts to collect moisture, it turns like a rustish color. And at the bottom, you don't see much of anything there. And I'll explain to you as we get going here what that means. So there's nothing really at the bottom of this tip of this vial. And it's cloudy. So here's a vial of the Hytran Premium when it's brand new. And you can see the difference of how the water is kind of emulsified within the fluid. Very, very interesting, very cool. Now we'll go to the John Deere fluid. And you can see it's almost white, which to me is kind of like the Hytran Premium. It has emulsified some of that water, that moisture that's in it. But the issue, which isn't a big issue, but it is a big issue because that leads back to the price point of these two products. So you see this white stuff at the bottom of this tip. Well, most hydraulic fluids use a type of zinc additive for their anti-wear properties. So that is what happens to zinc when it comes in contact with moisture or water. So whatever additives John Deere has used within the oil to accept the water tolerance, that is up here, but their zinc anti-wear has come to the bottom. So Hytran Premium does not use zinc. They use a synthetic additive for their anti-wear properties, and that's why there is no, I guess you call zinc at the bottom. So John Deere did pretty good. I don't know what their water tolerance is, but it's obviously less than 1%. Moving on to the Co-op oil, which is Countrymark's brand. You can see quite a bit. It's hard to tell because they dye their fluid green, which is awesome in my opinion. Kind of like ours is dyed red. It's awesome, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But they have quite a bit of the zinc at the bottom. It's hard to see, but there's way more than the Deere. And then we get to, and it is cloudy. There's a cloud to it. I guess I need to show the other vial. Forgot, apologize. And here is the new vial of the Countrymark. So you can see that this has accepted some of the water and the moisture within. Okay, so now we'll go down there to Mr. Lube King, and he has a ton of the zinc at the bottom. I mean, it's just filled up, and you can see where the fluid itself is not really changed a lot. So here's a vial of a new Lube King. And it has changed a little bit, but not like the others have. So right there we can tell that the water tolerance is darn near non-existent. So in Zach TV fashion, I'll kind of discuss this whole thing with the colors. I personally like Hytran Premium, one, because it's been this color red for years and years and years. Say that you have a fluid leak somewhere, maybe going to the engine, past the engine up there to the coolers, and you can't tell if it's engine oil or if it's hydraulic oil. Well, luckily, they dye their fluid red. You know, you can take a paper towel or something and dab it, and the towel will turn red. And this is where the John Deere fluid I don't like, because theirs is almost crystal clear. Like their hydraulic oils, it's pretty, but it's clear. So kind of boggles me. I don't know if they'd want to go green with their fluid, because maybe Countrymark's already doing theirs green. I don't know, but it'd be handier if it was a color, and that's my personal preference, and maybe that would matter to you guys as well. So theirs is clear. Here we go, Countrymark. They got the good green fluid. You know, if they had the same issue, something leaking under the engine, if it ain't black or whatever color, we know that's not engine oil, because this is green. And then we got Mr. Lube King here. He's a little amber color. This one might be the worst one of them all, because that almost looks like engine oil. Okay, so now we're going to do the self-proclaimed Zach test, which is the color test. So I'm going to take these little eyedroppers here of the fluids and check the color on a white napkin, and then I'm also going to do like a dribble test on a white plate. Okay, so the first two fluids that we're going to test are the Hytran Premium and the High Guard. So first we'll put the High Guard down, and you can see not a lot. This stuff is so clear. Next, the Hytran Premium. And with that rust color, you can see it pretty easily. We'll go ahead and do this, I guess my Zach TV dribble test, and we'll see how it goes when it's running down an object. Very easy to see. Now for the High Guard. Pretty transparent, hard to see. So next we'll move on to the Countrymark and the Lube King. Okay, for the next Zach TV dab test, we're going to do the Lube King and the Countrymark. So I'll go ahead and put some drops of the napkin. It's a little bit darker than the High Guard. I can see it a little bit better, but it's still pretty clear or transparent. And next we're going to use this, since this is the holidays, this pretty green Countrymark. Reminds you of Christmas, doesn't it, folks? Look at that. You can easily see that stuff. Now maybe it was on a John Deere tractor, I'm not sure, but that green color does stand out on the white. Next, we're going to do the same test, but the dribble test. Already have this out, so we'll go ahead and do that here with the Countrymark. Easily seen. Now at the Lube King, a little bit darker, but still pretty clear. Folks, we're going to go ahead and give the final rankings here. We're going to go ahead and give the Hytran Premium first place. We're going to give the John Deere High Guard second rating. The Countrymark hydraulic oil, trans hydraulic oil, third. And the good old Lube King, will give him fourth place. At least he placed. So there you have it. Hopefully that's it for you guys. I appreciate you tuning in. And until next time, we're going to be talking about the wonderful world of engine oils. I can't wait. And then after that, we're going to see Mr. Brian Foltz, our lube specialist with our bulk oil program here at Redline Equipment. So tune in for that next time. It should be a little fun, and we'll go from there. Thank you. Bye-bye.